Welcome back to the BST 4-channel Wingnuts. What's going on? What is happening, man? ADHD is kicking in heavy, and I'm over here looking at this Chevette. Keep the body just like this. This would be something really dope to have and everything. But screw this. We're talking about some other stuff. I want to make a race car out of a Thunder Pony like this one here. The most important thing is safety equipment, and that costs a lot of money, but it's well worth it. We need a roll cage in this thing. Yo, it costs some money. It's somewhere around $3,000. You know what you do? You go on the internet and start looking for old race cars and bring something back to life. If you guys follow me on Facebook, man, I had a plan A that failed, and then I had a plan B, which is this. If you guys will follow me, man, I went and made this thing right here. It's sturdy enough, it really is. I was a little worried that it wouldn't fit on this here. Thank goodness it does fit. I didn't measure anything. I was just going off my dome. And I know you guys are wondering, what the heck are you doing with this? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to show you guys what I'm doing. Right? So we gotta put this thing up. Now. Yo, cold. Yeah, it's cold, man. I ain't saying a word. There's nothing to talk about when it's cold out like this. Nothing to talk about. All we're gonna do is just try to get this thing in here. Looks good. Yeah, because you got to swivel it to make it sit right. Yeah. Yep. Up and away. Reverse. Oh, we're going to turn this off for a little bit. So we turned the camera on 5 days later and the car is sitting here. Now this was not easy to do. Let me show you. We had to drag this car out from the trailer, like yank it off. And we used this right here to be able to do it. Took this Vic and we just yanked that thing right on out. What happened, this wheel fell off. It got caught on the trailer and it just ripped the thing out. Wood is still good though. It's all good. We'll work with it and try to make it happen. But besides all of that, now we're looking at the car. The car is home. The first glance of when we were picking up the car, we thought we'd be able to cut the front of it and then add on some stuff. But when we looked at the dent, we were like, look, this cannot be done at home. What we would need to do is take it to a shop. They straighten up the frame, right? Get everything lined up and then hack it off, which is still not a bad deal. But what happened was my nephew wanted to get into the Ford game and he was like, look, let me get one of those Mustangs, and what I'll do is, right, I'm gonna take the cage out of one and put it into another Mustang. So the whole thing about what this car is now is basically a parts car. We're gonna take out the cage, or he's gonna take out the cage. What I'm gonna do is yank this out for him, and then we can start the beginning process of everything. I mean, now this is a full roll cage. This ain't no play stuff we're talking about here. You know what I mean? All the way even in the back here. It's all good. So now we go to the junkyard again and go check out and see what parts that we can get for the other one. Now this car here would be a perfect candidate for that car. That's what we thought. Quick reminder that the car was pushed in on the driver's side all the way in, and then this sway bar bracket right here got pushed in, and then this is all pushed in. It has a little bend somewhere right around here, and the steering rack touching and bending right somewhere around there. And then you go on this side over here, this side was pushed in also. No bueno on the repair of this front end. The first step of building a budget race car is you got to find donor pieces that are in the junkyard. You look at your local junkyard, you start sourcing out parts before you even begin the process. And we know that we need a lot of parts off of it. Now we need the whole front suspension and the rear suspension. So when you double check the engine bay, man, you make sure that things are all there. Make sure you get all the pieces that you need, the bolts and everything you're going to need, top bolts, everything. Because we're going to change the struts and everything later on and the shocks later on, but we just need the car to roll. And this car has everything that we need, even the front here if we do need it. Don't need it. Mainly what we may need is to chop it off, but we can use the other car at home to be able to piece that other car back together. Probably don't need this, but we'll use the other car at home to be able to get all the pieces to make one running car. Then we came back later and look what we got. The Mustang is on the chopping block, ready to get dismantled because, hey, there is really nothing left to this car at all. So subframe is gone, sway bar is gone, and obviously the rear and all the goodness is gone out of it. So we got to bring those parts on home. But right now what I'm trying to do is, like I mentioned, I took off the door. So now got this out. You know, I shouldn't be cutting this. I should be learning how to really finesse this, but it's wet out. I'm trying to get things kind of done. So this whole thing should come out. All right, man, skipping so many scenes you wouldn't even believe. We'll talk about this in a few seconds. Let's get over here to this. What I had to do with this car here is that I had to lift up the back, lift up the front, and then sneak the dolly out, put the wheel on it. It was a mess, bro. And then in the front, I had to cut the front off and slide the subframe out, and it was all bent and everything like that. It was a really bad deal. Now with this car here, got the doors open. I gotta start yanking out all the electrical stuff out of there, the harness. So the engine harness. That's it, all the way down to the transmission. Just need the engine harness, because obviously this car here was a 3-valve, and the 3-valve has that daggone drive-by-wire system. You can see there, you probably can't even see it, but you can get the gist. So we're just trying to get things going. So now, skipping scenes, brothers. Now we got these, and they got to come home like pronto. Got the front, got the rear. You know, it's junkyard pieces, yeah, but you know, it's very cheap. I just got to break things down and clean things up and be good to go. Skipping scenes, brothers. As you can see, we started to tear down the back of this car here, and then on this car here, we have broken it down. Now, all I was worrying about is, let me see. All right, it starts. The dash is ready to come out. It's just the daggone steering column out. But anyway, enough about that. Need to grab this right here. This is what we're doing now. Trying to extract the window. Even though this window is cracked, definitely got to spray some water down here. Even though it's cold out, I had modified this reciprocating saw with this thing here, with this thing here. This thing here has to come off. This side up. So, got to make sure that this side is up. As you guys can see, the blade went through without nothing cracking. That's basically how it works, like that. So what we got to do is go around the whole window, and hopefully we can yank this thing out. So all right, we got the window out. Now this thing here, this is the only thing, like when you're doing this, like say if you had an aluminum body, this won't work, man, because as you're doing this blade, you got to make sure you finesse it just enough that it's doing like this, and you just take your time. You know, you spray a little soapy water, make it a little slick and cool it down, and it'll just cut like butter. Now with the cool thing about this, see it says on this side, you sharpen it, all the imperfections, you know, after your work or during your work, to get it nice and precise and be able to cut right in here yet again. Right here, this is always the thicker part. Now this windshield was already broken on this side. I still wanted to, you know, cut it out. It wasn't broken in the middle, so we're still kind of good. I'm just gonna probably black it out with some stuff. And like I said, right around here it gets a little funny. You gotta let the tool do its work. You just have to guide it, and this is how you wanted to cut it, like that. Now the rear window, now you know this thing is shattered. You got to take our time yet again. Just take your time. All right, so we got the window out in the rear, man. My nephew had to come down and really help me with this. Matter of fact, without my nephew, I wouldn't be able to get this thing here through the snow and everything. So man, he's been really helpful, especially that day when we were picking it up, man. Woo, my brain cells were shot. But anyway, like I was telling you guys, got the back window out. Dope. Use the tool that we converted. Just like when we did the front window, we did the back window. Just had to get it real smooth. Right here was a little bit of problems. You had to go and resharpen the tool to get it right. And then right around here, I had to stop because they had a little tab that lines up the window. Then right around here, I had to use a bit of the wire. As you can see right here, use the wire somewhere around here. See the little ridges? Then I had to stop there. You know what I mean? Then I had to go back and use the tool. When I use the tool, this is what you get. You get a nice smooth situation when you use the tool. And then we had to use the pulling tool to pull it across. It was just a lot. So now the plan now is to cut the rear of the car out. That's what the whole thing is. Cut right around here, down there, and then go up in front of here and chop right around there. So we could just take this whole thing up with the quarters hooked up to the roof, put it to the side, then I can do my finessing and try to figure out what parts do I need. That was from my nephew. Said that would be the best thing. He's absolutely right, because I don't really know or remember what's going on with the other car. So that's the best solution, how to deal with that. So man, I want to thank my man Daniel. I want to thank my man Dizzle. I want to thank my man Will and my man Motor City Mike. Man, Motor City Mike, thank you for all the deep conversations, brother. It got me up to this point here, man. It's not about this, but it was just about just life and how to just chop at it a little bit at a time, like we're doing this car here, man. Thank you so much for that. So on the next video, man, like I was mentioning, we're going to chop this thing apart, man, and then we're going to do our thing. So we'll see you guys on the next one. All right? Later.
Did it. One to drive. That was